It's a story that continues to make national headlines. Ed Buck, a wealthy political donor, at the center of a firestorm after two gay black men died at his home.
Yeah, the latest death happened just a month ago. So who is Buck and who did he give money to? Kicking on his Tom Waite was digging deep into the campaign finance records to sort it all out and joins us tonight with more. Tom?
Yeah, that's right, Jeff and Susie. We did a deep dive into those records, found out a lot of information. Buck has definitely spread the wealth, giving thousands of dollars to dozens of groups, candidates, and causes. And we now have a clearer picture of how the cash was spent. Not long ago, Ed Buck was rubbing elbows with some of the Democratic Party's biggest stars, donating tens of thousands of dollars to various candidates and causes.
Arrest Ed Buck!
But this is Ed Buck's life now, under fire from community activists after a second gay black man, 55-year-old Timothy Dean, died in his home. Folks gathered twice last month and chanted outside Buck's West Hollywood apartment building. In the crowd, Letitia Nixon, the mother of Jamel Moore, who died at Buck's apartment in July of 2017 of a drug overdose. Police never arrested Buck or charged him with a crime.
We should not even be here. There shouldn't even be a second victim.
Before the two deaths at his home, Buck was a well-known activist. Originally from Arizona, he reportedly made around $1 million selling a courier company and moved to West Hollywood back in the early 90s. He's often referred to as a wealthy donor, so we did some checking and searched campaign finance records for federal, state, and local donations. Buck's biggest political investment was for more than $300,000 to his own political PAC called Animal PAC, formed to represent animal welfare interests throughout California. Buck was a well-known animal rights activist, but he's also donated thousands of dollars to various politicians. Many of the donations were made years before the deaths at his home, and in many cases the money was returned to Buck or donated to charities after Moore's death. We looked at records dating back to 2009. Among the high-profile recipients, Mayor Eric Garcetti, who received $1,400 from Buck back in 2016. That money was returned about a month after Moore died. Los Angeles County DA Jackie Lacey received $100 from Buck back in 2012. Her campaign says that money was given back in February of 2018. Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu took in $19,400 in state and federal donations from Buck. Lieu's campaign says after the second death at Buck's home, they donated the contributions they received to various charities. Buck gave Adam Schiff, now chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, $2,700 back in 2016. The campaign says the money went to the nonprofit Trevor Project. West Hollywood's current mayor, John Duran, received $12,500 from Buck in various campaigns in 2012 to 2016. Without offering specifics, Duran said most of the money was spent and some was donated to charity. Cal State Northridge professor of political science Lawrence Becker says it's up to the various candidates whether to return the money. Buck has broken no laws and the donations are perfectly legal.
In a case where it's a legal donation and it just kind of looks bad or it seems unethical or something, no, there's no roadmap, but the best roadmap, I would say, is just kind of good judgment.
Community activist Jasmine Canick wants to make sure both Moore and Dean are not forgotten and remembered for more than just how they died.
Everybody has someone who loves them and cares about them, and there is more to all of these young men than that.
LA County Sheriff's homicide detectives are still investigating Dean's death and have not released many details about it.